out and you got who married who, and some of the people got married, they didn't get married, but they had kids. Somebody say yes. That's very dominant in the African-American context. Still now, 2/3 of our kids are born out of wedlock in the African-American context now, in 2009. So the genograms got so many different names attached to it, and it's hard to pinhole all of them. But alongside the date of birth, alongside of their names, you now got to try to find out a little bit about them. Like in my family system, I found alcoholism is a dominant stronghold. So you start finding divorce. My family system on my father's side, everybody divorced. My concept of marriage was so woman of God to teach me and to walk with me in marriage. I had not seen a model of it. It was in the church I began to see Christian marriage, and I was like, wow, they're holding hands going outside the church. And he really loves them. One of my best friends, Lee and Deborah Dixon, in the early part of their marriage, I learned watching how they were raising kids. I couldn't wait to have kids. Talking about, get the Bible out and pray with their kids. I was trying to duck knives as a kid. I had no concept of what it is to be a father. My father training came from the church. I learned what it is to be a real man, not in the streets carrying a gun. I learned from men of God how to be a real man. Men who took time as a 22-year-old man to mentor me and take me through Chaplain Azar and them to these places of the dark night of the soul. So I'm trying as your pastor to come alongside you and say, we got to do this work. And I'm going to do this from the pulpit too now. Get the giant in you and make the devil terrified when they come by East Friendship, shake in their boots. We will not go by this church. These are some loving, strong, anointed people who have been doing a great work for years already, but there's another level. Don't be afraid. Don't shake. We're going a little over for a second. Bear with me, because I got to get this right as you get ready to leave. So I need you to start doing as much research. Don't be hurt that it may be 2 boxes, but be thorough on those 2 boxes. If you only know who your father and your grandparents is, try to call mama and ask some questions, and grandma ask a couple of questions. Divorce occurred. Why? What are the things that we battled mostly in our family system? So it could be divorce, it could be drugs, it could be alcoholism, it could be schizophrenia, bipolar. There are some DNA things that's in your life. There's some genetic things that are in your life. So if you're single right now and you're not married and you're looking to get married one day, this is the process you have to go through now. Don't get at the altar and say I do, and have no knowledge of who you marrying, and they need to have some knowledge of you. Twyla. Reading the book.
Processing the book. But she's a woman who has so much, she knows everything. She has so much pride. I don't know what's going to happen. And I wanted to ask you kind of how do you sort through the aunt who will tell you all the generations, but may not want to say my dad cheated on my mom.
That's going to happen. You can't control that. I just say approach it as a Christian. Don't try to be a bully. Push people into holes. People are not ready to talk about it. Our families, we've learned to be silence. We practice what I call negative silence as a culture. We have a